Hello, welcome back to the channel. It is Dan Knocked Knives coming at you today with a quick unboxing video for this knife. I won't spoil it, but it's been on pre-order for a little while, and I think it'll be a really interesting knife. A lot of buzz around this one. I'm gonna open it up with the TW Price Dawn today. Ignore how badly I did that. There we go. That bubble wrap out of the way. All right, we have a TW Price design knife. You might recognize that logo, you might not. Box feels nice. All right, here we go. So this one is the Dawn V2. Here's this nice card, nice wax seal. I think that's a real wax seal. Awesome. It's the Dawn V2 blade steel M390, and I got this one in gray handle. Certificate of authenticity. It's a nice little texture to it. It's a good card. Here's what we're looking at. So obviously I opened it up with this one, which is the original V1 Dawn in a frame lock here. These new V2s are coming in a liner lock. Take a look at this. Yeah, there you go, liner lock. So take a flip of it. Ooh, that was a bad flip. There we go. Ooh, okay. Dang, it is smooth. It is really smooth out of the box. That's impressive. Detent feels nice on the first flip. Yeah. Ooh, this feels good. This feels really good. The detent feels awesome. No play up, down, left, or right. This one has a nice, more reflective stonewash. I really like this. I really like that stonewash. Here it is compared to the original stonewash with it, which is much closer to a bead blast and then a really light stonewash. I like this more true stonewash better. I prefer it. It's a little more corrosion resistant, and I think it holds up to scratches and wear a little bit better. Looks really good. This monochrome pattern with a little splash of purple on the pivot collar. Like that a lot. It's a little bit thicker than the original Dawn. I might make a video talking about the full comparison, so I won't get too into it in this video. The price on these, I can't remember the price. I want to say it was about 300-ish, maybe 315 or something like that. If I can find it, I'll put it up on the screen somewhere. And I'm almost positive that Tyler of TW Price will have some of these available from dealers after all the pre-orders are delivered. I know there are at least some going to, what's it called, Way of Knife and EDC Gearhouse. I know there are some going there in a cool smooth handle instead of this machine texture. So let's take a look at our overall length here. Measurements are going to be pretty much the same as the V1 Dawn. You're looking at 8.5 inches overall. Blade length is just under 3.5, about 3.25, and cutting edge is just under 3 inches. You have this really nice plunge grind, big sharpening choil. This blade is really easy to sharpen. I've really enjoyed sharpening this V1 blade. You can see perfect choil, perfect plunge grind, super easy to sharpen. And this one should be no different. Feels just as thin behind the edge as the V1s. That was one of my favorite parts of this knife, is how thin behind the edge it is. Sintering is perfect. Detent feels great on these. Feels really nice. Not too hard, but a little crispier. It's got, yeah, definitely a crisper detent than these V1s. That was one of my, a very minor thing about the V1 is the detent is a little bit sluggish. So it's just kind of pretty soft. For a front flipper, that's what you want, but I always thought it could be a little snappier. I think they got that dialed in on these V2s. It's perfectly snappy, but still really easy to front flip in all the ways you want to. Middle finger, do the reach over, super easy. And then obviously with your thumb, and you have this great fuller here for really easy middle finger flicking. Super easy. And with this being a liner lock, it's going to be way more lefty friendly. Super easy to lefty flick. It's not a reversible clip, but left-handed ergos are pretty good. Yeah, those are solid ergos and easy to disengage, really easy to flick on the middle finger. So if you're a lefty and you were missing out on the Dawn, I don't know if I can front flip it left-handed. That's a little bit harder. Here we go. There. That's really easy. Yeah. This is going to be a solid knife for lefties. Only issue is you won't have that reversible clip. Yeah, that detent feels really good. I'm impressed with the detent. Honestly, I'm impressed with everything on this. Bestech has done a really good job lately. They've really been doing impressive work lately, I think. And this knife is, honestly, for my first impressions, some of their best work. The blade finish is very nice. Feels really good, feels smooth, and yet it still has these nice crisp grind lines that you can see for the swedge, for the fuller, for the plunge grind. You aren't losing the definition on those grinds, even with this nice smooth stonewash. The handle milling looks and feels really nice and consistent, feels good, perfect amount of texture and traction on there. The detent really is on this pretty exceptional, I would say. Great mix of snappy, but very easy to manipulate still. And the weight on that liner lock is done pretty much perfectly. Very nice action, nice smooth action. Has a good clip on this, can get over pretty much any pants. I've never had a problem putting this in and out of any of my pockets. And it's the exact same clip, no changes on the clip that I can identify, at least by looking at it here. Yeah, pretty much the same there. It is slightly thicker. Here's a little thickness comparison. Slight thickness increase. Let's get a few measurements here. Get my calipers on this. So the V1 Dawn is coming in at 0.46 thick. These V2 Dawn is coming in at 0.51. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about the thickness. It is a little bit nicer ergonomically, but you will sacrifice some of that in the carry. It'll be just a little bit bulkier in pocket. Now the weight on these, I don't know, it's hard to tell. They feel very close. This one may have a few tenths of an ounce. Blade stock thickness should be the same between these two. So you're looking at 0.117. And then on this V2, you're looking at 0.118. Yeah, pretty much the same. Take a look at the behind the edge measurement. Oh yeah, 12 and a half, 11 and a half thousandths behind the edge, give or take. That's nice. That's exactly what this one was behind the edge out of the box. Now this does have a fairly high angle bevel. I'm going to say it's probably 22 degrees. I'll measure that really quick though. Here's my goniometer, and we're coming in at right on 22 degrees, just about on the money. So a slightly high bevel angle, but really not too bad. That's pretty reasonable, considering a lot of times from the Chinese OEMs, you're seeing like a 25-degree bevel. I know Rayot has a tendency to do a really high bevel like that, 25 degrees. Sometimes a little more, and even some US manufacturers like Hinder loves to put a 26, 27-degree bevel. So does Microtech. To make the bevel look small, makes it look like it's a better cutter. Makes it look better in some people's opinion with that smaller bevel. But that's not bad. 22 is all right. Test the sharpness a little bit. That's nice. Yep, satisfied with that. No issues on the edge. Yeah, I'm really pretty happy with that. In my experience, Bestech doesn't usually overheat their edges too much either. On my Raytheon from Arcane Design. The edge performance on the factory edge was really good. I was very impressed with it, and I expect pretty similar on this. Looking at a flat grind on this. Blade again is M390. And Bestech has been doing M390 pretty well lately. It's been pretty hard. You can go and look at some of Pete, of Cedric and Ada, some of his testing, and his performance results are getting up into the Spyderco territory for Bestech's M390. It's been pretty impressive lately. So I think this should be a solid performer, and with it being this thin, it will cut with pure geometry at least really well. These Dawns are really, really good cutters. They have great geometry, nice full flat grind, thin behind the edge, really good knives, really good just daily drivers. They're awesome for that because they carry well and they cut well. And it's a fun knife to play with if you want that. It's a good knife to cut with if you need that. Ergos, yeah, with a little more thickness, honestly, really good ergos on this. Very nice. Here, first finger is going to fall in this groove. The other two going to fall here. Third one kind of ends up anywhere on here, or your fourth finger. Yeah, solid saber grip. You have a little bit of jimping right here, just enough to give a little extra traction. Hammer grip for my medium plus size hands. On the small side of a large size of a medium. I've got a lot of room, very comfortable. Draw cut grip is great. Pinch grip, really good on this. You can choke up kind of into that sharpening choil, get a little more control up here, or you can be back here for more power. Really nice. Lock is really easy to disengage. I like that. We have a little bit more lock access than the V1s. You can see that, a nice chamfer on there, nicely exposed, versus here's the exposure on the V1, just barely see that, and it has a smaller chamfer. That was one of my complaints on the V1, is it's a little bit light on the lock bar access. I was hoping that Tyler would improve that on the V2s, and he has. I think it's pretty much perfect. Very easy to disengage that lock on this. That's it. That's very nice. Nicely done. Once again, everything appears to be a T8. Pivot, body screw, all the screws are T8. Very easy. Oh, look at this. This is interesting. Hopefully it'll show this on camera. This side is solid titanium, and so is this side, and then it just has one locking leaf inset in there. Maybe you can see that. See those two screws back here that are securing that locking leaf, and then everything else is tie in there. You can see it's skeletonized out. So the only steel is the lock bar. I'm guessing it's steel. Yeah, so steel lock bar. Everything else in the handle is tie. That's nice. That's why it doesn't feel really bulky or heavy. It's because there's only a little bit of steel. Here's the balance point. Right there, right on this kind of hump right there. See, how does that compare to the previous one? It is just slightly farther back on the balance point for the V2. So there's your balance point on your V2 right there on that hump. And then the V1s, it's just slightly in front of the hump. I think that's just a slight thickness difference is all that's contributing to that. Well, overall on this knife, I'm very impressed, very happy with it. I'm probably going to take it apart right now and toss in some skiff bearings. If I manage to find some that will fit, I'll try and remember to drop the measurements on screen here or in the description. I think it's probably going to be these 5mm 1/16. That's what the old these Dawn V1s took, was a 5mm. So we'll see. I'll see how this goes. And that's all I have for this one. If you have any thoughts about this knife, I would love to hear them. Go drop a comment down below. Did you pick one of these up? Did you decide to pass on it? Do you have a V1 and you love it? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button. I would definitely appreciate it. And with all that said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.